Boston Red Sox legends have called out Rafael Devers for what has transpired with the ending in Boston. I'll break down quotes from Manny Ramirez as well as even David Ortiz on their opinions on why it didn't work with Rafael Devers in Boston. We'll break down all of the comments and all the quotes on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first, please do remember to scroll down and click the subscribe button, as nearly 90% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down how Red Sox legends have spoken out about Rafael Devers as of late. Now, these are quotes I did not anticipate bringing you guys, because when the trade initially happened, everyone that was a fan and supporter of the Boston Red Sox felt bamboozled. They were surprised. They had no idea why Craig Breslow and the rest of this Red Sox front office would even consider trading someone like Rafael Devers, specifically in the time frame in which they chose after sweeping the New York Yankees, winning 8 of their last 10 games overall, including 3 straight series against in-division rivals in the the Tampa Bay Rays, and twice against the New York Yankees. And Breslow made a trade, and everyone immediately jumped on Breslow's neck. Your ego was hurt, and because of that, you decided to make a drastic move that makes it feel a whole lot like 2018 again. But I'm here to tell you that based off these quotes, your opinions might change just a bit. And it's hard for me to even say that because I can't believe I'm saying that. But again, just bear with me and just look at some of these quotes, listen to some of these quotes, and I think you'll understand why. So the first quote is from David Ortiz, but it's on Boston Strong on their Twitter. They went on to cite it from David Ortiz in his Instagram Live, where he went on to say a bunch of things, and this was one of them. David Ortiz says on IG Live, Instagram Live, that he offered his assistance and guidance to Rafael Devers multiple times during his time in Boston, and he rarely heard back from him. He has never showed interest in learning how to get better as the face of the franchise. Again, a major quote from David Ortiz, someone who was the golden boy for the Boston Red Sox. Not only then, but now. He is someone that will forever be loved and admired in Boston and around the game of baseball for not only the production offensively, specifically offensively, but just being the character and the aura that he maintained game in and game out, whether it was in Fenway or in an opponent's field. It didn't matter. David Ortiz was beloved. He was intimidated. He just did everything right. And some of these quotes make you even... He really jumped on Devers. Let's just say that. So we're going to start with this tweet. And again, I am going to attempt to say your name. I apologize when I mispronounce it, but I will say his Twitter, his account, and this tweet specifically is going to be tagged down in the description if you want to look through the rest of his account and more of the content that he has posted about the Boston Red Sox, and again, just translating because of the Spanish language barrier there. If you do not speak fluent Spanish yourself and you can't translate when someone like David Ortiz or Manny Ramirez is speaking publicly. So again, Marino Pepin, and again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but David Ortiz would go on to say, quote, "You employees, go against the check signer. See if you're going to last 2 days. I did everything they told me to, and today I'm earning a lifetime salary from the Red Sox, and everyone there loves me." The end of the first quote from David Ortiz, and this is substantial. Not something you anticipated to hear from someone like David Ortiz, who, from a far distance looking at it, it felt like Ortiz was more of a father figure to someone like Rafael Devers. And it seems like he wanted to be, and he tried to be, not only a father figure, but a role model, a mentor on how to be a professional athlete, specifically in Boston. And Devers couldn't have had a better option. He couldn't have. David Ortiz was the golden boy. And I hate using that term because of just what it is, but it's accurate. David Ortiz, while he was with the Boston Red Sox, which was basically the entirety of his career. Yes, he started with the Minnesota Twins, but he ended up with the Red Sox. And he played a long, long time with the Red Sox where he was wildly successful. And even in the years where he wasn't wildly successful, offensively speaking, on the diamond, he was still beloved because everyone loved him. Everyone felt like there's no way he's not a swing away from becoming the problem in this league, which we saw time and time and time again. He survived in Boston. He made it through in Boston as a Latino, a a grown man, a professional athlete, as a Latino, he was able to get through any of the controversy, any of the struggles, any of the drama, any of the problems, and he was wildly successful in doing so. One that Rafael Devers could have mimicked to the 99th degree, and it would have been, no one would have said, oh, well, he's just copying David Ortiz. They would have thanked him for copying David Ortiz. That's all the Red Sox Nation wanted. Someone in the 2, the 3, or the 4 hole to be a dominant force for the Red Sox. Yes, Devers had been batting in the 2 for the majority of the season. I understand that. But the point is the same. Some substantial piece in the early stages of that lineup that were feared amongst the MLB. And that's someone that David Ortiz was, and that everyone was hoping Devers was going to be for a long time in Boston. And because of his unwillingness, it seems like that was also a substantial piece to why he was traded eventually from this Red Sox team to the San Francisco Giants just 2 days ago on June 15th. Now, Boston Sports Goto, another great Twitter account we cite on this channel, a bunch, again, tagged down in the description if you want to see this tweet, as well as a bunch of others as he goes on the tag of 2 other Twitter accounts in this tweet to cite them. But again, Boston Sports Gordo, David Ortiz on Rafael Devers, quote, "No one is indispensable on a team. The only way to become indispensable is by doing things the right way, all the way around. You need to be available." I think that marked the end of the relationship between the Boston Red Sox and Devers. You have to be smart. A player's worst enemy is his ego. And guess what teams do with your ego? They buy it. That's the end of the quote from David Ortiz, and this is by far and away going to be the most substantial quote we break down out of all of them, whether it be from Manny Ramirez or David Ortiz himself. And the reason I say that is because the ego conversation is something that the Red Sox Nation jumped all over Craig Breslow for. The second this trade came across all of our screens, the first thing we thought of and the first thing we all reacted with was fuck Craig Breslow. It was fuck the front office. It was fuck Breslow. It was fuck Henry. It was fuck Kennedy. The Red Sox fan base entirely turned on the Red Sox front office as they were already treading on extremely thin ice. And they did this. And everyone thought Craig Breslow's ego fully 110% got in the way. And now based off of these quotes from very, very credible people, David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez couldn't be any more credible. Yes, they aren't full-on analysts now. David Ortiz does a bit of broadcasting here and there, but they're not analysts. But damn it, they played a long time in the league, and they were good with Boston. They were great with Boston for a long time. And when they speak, especially about a locker room presence and about being a professional athlete and getting by in the professional league, you have to listen. You have to take it in because they're not going to lie to you. And they're not sitting here just saying random things that they don't honestly believe, that they didn't honestly witness and experience themselves. So don't take these with a grain of salt. Believe these things and understand that maybe Devers wasn't the one that was fully innocent here. Maybe Craig Breslow wasn't the entire, and I should rephrase this, as Breslow and the rest of the Boston Red Sox front office maybe weren't entirely the bad guys. And you hearing that from me should mean something because I have not been a fan of Breslow ever since the first base conversation became a thing. Because it felt like Cora felt one way and then Breslow felt another. And when Breslow came and approached Devers about it, that's when everything broke loose once again. So now for the final quote from David Ortiz before we get to Manny Ramirez's quote, "There are baseball players who think they're bigger than the game, and the game is over 100 years old. What fucking company pays you $300 million to do whatever you want? You'd tell me to jump, and I'd jump. Roll, and I'd roll. That's why I'm a Hall of Famer. And in Boston, they love me because I was an employee. This is a business. It's not your house. It's not about what you want or what you don't want. This is a business that people have to put their clothes on to fight for and respect. Devers could have been the face of the Boston Red Sox franchise." Again, that's the end of the final quote from the one and only David Ortiz. And again, we're going to break down Manny Ramirez's quote here in just a few seconds. And I genuinely do not believe that anything is going to be any bigger than this one. This was substantial. Calling out someone's ego, highlighting the fact that it comes down to as simple as if they tell you to jump up and down, you jump up and down. You are their employee. Yes, you're getting paid more than everyone else. That is for a good fucking reason. You're the best offensive player on this roster. No debate. You've been here since 2017. You won a World Series in 2018. You're the last piece of that team left. It doesn't matter. You are still an employee when it comes down to it. You are playing a kid's game on a professional level. You have to listen. If they want you to play first, even if you don't want to, you say okay, and you try to get it done. And again, you guys know how I feel. I didn't want Devers to even attempt to play first because it was a new position. He had never played it. He was not great at third. What are the odds he's going to be even decent at first? I didn't want to take that chance. Now with Casas still available, and then when Casas went down, you have to. I understand I didn't want it to happen, but who cares what I want? Like, I'm just covering the team. I'm giving you my opinion. When it comes down to what Devers should have done, based off of the quotes from David Ortiz as well as now Manny Ramirez, it seems like it would have been his best option, even to go out there and give it a half-assed effort and be horrible at it. Now, the last quote we're going to highlight, this one is from Manny Ramirez, again, from Hector Gomez on Twitter. Again, tag down below if you would like to see the rest of his profile and the content he posts. But he goes on the site, Manny Ramirez, as it says, quote, Devers needed to have people advising him there on the team. I'm telling you this because I really wasn't well. And David and Pedro were fighting with me to advise me. But I was so bad that I never let them advise me. And David Ortiz, look how he's come out on top in Boston. He let himself be advised. Most Latinos don't come out on good terms with their teams. Manny Ramirez, once again, highlighting the stature of David Ortiz, especially in Boston, specifically in Boston. Not even just amongst the MLB as a whole, which he is widely respected, we all know. But in the city of Boston, in Fenway Park, there is no one else more beloved than that man. And he played a long time, and he wasn't perfect. No one is. And he will still never be criticized. He will never be diminished in the state of in Fenway in Boston. It won't happen because of what he did for as long as he did it and how beloved he really was. Let me know down below. Did this change your opinion on Rafael Devers, Craig Breslow, in the entirety of the situation that took place? It certainly gave me a little bit more perspective. I will certainly say that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Red Sox Digest.